Speaking of sports,
Playoff basketball.
we got stuff to talk about. Hey, so today I saw that the Warriors played last night.
Yeah, that's stuff that
Ripped my
they got
heart
knocked
out
out.
too. And honestly, it's like it's it's kind of funny because there's so many stuff because everyone's like, you know, saying like, you got two camps after the game, right? You got the camp that's like not impressed that they beat the Warriors because like you with no Curry and like not a healthy Warriors team. I know no one's healthy, but like the Minnesota Stars were healthy.
Mm.
Right? Curry wasn't playing the last two, 3 games because he was injured, right? So he might have come back for game six if they won, but they did not. They made a good push at the end. It was almost a blowout, and then they made it close in the fourth quarter, but not close enough.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I know I should have watched that one, but of course I got too excited with the Celtics last night. And of course my boy Tatum, he's kind of the same way as Curry a little bit, but he ended up tearing, I think it was like getting his Achilles surgery done or something like that. So Tatum is done until some point next year. Uh, But the Celtics somehow are surviving. They're still down 3-2, but they won last night, thank goodness. And the new upcoming owner, the Celtics was there last night, which is cool to see. Um, and so yeah, seeing that the Seeds can survive
Yeah.
against against the nasty Knicks.
Yeah. Yeah, but it'd be you versus all the New York people that we know.
All right. So so yeah, that's been intense, and then we're actually gearing up to go to the Savannah Bananas game uh, here in June.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
So
Where are they going to, where are they going to play? Greensboro, Charlotte?
this time they're playing in Charlotte.
Nice.
So they're actually playing because I think they were in Greensboro, I think last year. Um, but this year they're actually playing at the Bank of America Stadium, the home of the Carolina Panthers. And so it's kind of crazy, right? Because there's like a lottery to get into the lottery, then to then get a ticket for the game. And the morning that we got the seats, they ended up selling out about 3 or 4 hours later. So it's good to see, right? They've already sold out a couple football stadiums, and they've already sold out the Panther Stadium for not just the Saturday that we're going, but the Friday right before then as well.
Yeah.
So they sold out 2 nights in a matter of like 3 hours, basically.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it tells you that, there's a thing for that. I was watching when they were on ESPN like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, are you?
Right, because they do the whole ESPN, right, when the summer comes around, right? They start doing like the ESPN Banana Ball slots
Yeah.
because
Right,
they have to fill
right.
the summer with something.
Yeah, they're pretty interesting. So definitely excited to see them in person for the first time.
That's good.
I've heard it drives some people bananas though.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, because that's very interesting because I think you got people who are, I know, like people on the team, like just because I just follow certain people on the team because of how big of social media thing those guys are. But like I know like there's like those people got like offers, right, to play, and try out for like my major league and AAA teams, right? And they're like, nah, we're good. We're just playing this. Which tells you something, man. Tells you
All
something
right.
about like Banana Ball and the players and who the type of players that are part of Banana Ball. The fact that you got people that are been work there for like a couple years and play. banana ball for a couple years, and they're like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to go ahead. Like I think one guy was like, yeah, I got to try out for the Angels, but I didn't go
So
because I
that's
stayed
a
sustainable, which is, that tells you something about that,
right,
that sort of game.
right. So these guys are, they're not only obviously they're super talented, but they're also super committed to the division of the banana,
Yeah.
which is good. And that's what you want. Not just for the front office, but obviously for the team too, right? Because the players and the guys actually pretty much doing the whole rigmarole. And so it's good that they're definitely doing something right. Well, I think they're doing everything right,
Yeah.
uh, but it's good to see that it's a two-way street, and they're realizing that.
And that's kind of what you need to do that because, you know, they got feel, they took what minor league baseball is, but just put it to a different level.
All right, man, a
Like,
million times more fun.
yeah. And you don't think minor league baseball could be more fun, but then
All
again,
right.
so yeah, so that's gonna be very interesting, and yeah, we'll get uh, and the NHL lottery happened, the NHL NBA lottery happened this past week
Oh,
into
that's right.
right, yeah, so they both happened in the past like 10 days. I think the NBA lottery was like Monday or Tuesday, and then the NHL lottery was like a maybe week, 8 days maybe ago. We can change ago. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting to see how that all worked out. And of course, the Dallas Mavericks, they're it's a conspiracy theory right now, right? Of saying like, did the Mavericks just get the first pick because of all the stuff of losing Luca and getting screwed so much in the Luca trade that like the conspiracy of the NBA making sure that they give them their pennants. And I'm like, feel like that, like maybe that could happen. And there's a whole conspiracy theory about that. You
No
know,
options are off the table.
exactly. And that's to say with there's Timberwolves. I'm like, there's the memes of the Timberwolves are all over media, all over the Timberwolves Warriors series. Yesterday, I was looking, there's all over social media for me because you know, they're like showing like, Timberwolves. It's like, it's like all the Avengers or whatever. They made Marvel Thanos memes of like how, you know, Timberwolves point guard is now the Thanos. He's collecting Infinity Stones. And you see in the picture, of like Draymond, Curry, and so forth. And I'm like it's like the
That's funny.
memes are funny, but sometimes irritating because it's like I get everyone wants to say injuries, but like, dude, when you lose Curry for 4 games, and you lose a guy who's gonna put up 25, 30 points, it's
All right.
it's like the Timberwolves are celebrating like they just beat a superpower. I'm like, without Curry, we're not a playoff team. Like you beat a team who's probably would barely make a playing game if they didn't have Curry the whole season. If we're that lucky. If they're that lucky. So it's like it's kind of funny seeing the memes of like, how powerful, you know, the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards is, but it's like you beat a team didn't have its leading scorer and its 2, 3 time MVP on the team and the best shooter ever and the point guard. Like like
All right.
you shouldn't be celebrating like you just w won an amazing series against an amazing team because they're not.
All right.
And I can say all this as a Warriors fan. And it's like I admit it. They don't. I'm like I knew for a fact it was like, oh, here we go. Here comes Timberwolves with all the memes. I'm like, dude, like you you beat a average team with when Curry's not there. They're an average to mediocre team. Congratulations. That was your second round win. I don't know. So it was kind of interesting to see how social media has been like that for the past 17 hours, not even 24 hours. It's been like 17 hours. So that's kind of interesting because it's like, dude, like you can't
They
you
need they need
like
their pat on the
it'd
back.
be one thing if they beat them like that and and Curry was healthy. Like I'm not because everyone's injured and I get that, but like everyone has to admit that this is a different series if Curry was completely healthy and did not miss the last two, 3 games.
All right.
Right? Like I'm not saying that the Warriors would have won, but they definitely wouldn't have won in 5 games, right?
All right.
So it's just a completely different team. And the fact that the Warriors only lost by like, I think they ended up losing by like 13 or something like that. I don't know I forgot what the final
Mm.
score was, but so something like that. Like if Curry puts up 16, it's like a two, even if they lose, it's only 2 point game. Even if the Timberwolves won, that probably would have only been like a 2, 3 point game. So it's like, congrats, Timberwolves. But like, let's see how you do because I think they have to play the winner of I forget. I think it's the Nuggets series. They play someone. They play a big giant opponent next, or the winner of a big giant opponent next. To your NBA. Yeah, they have to play the winner of the Nuggets and Thunder series in the Western Conference Final. So it's like that's what I'm saying. It's like, congrats. You'll be joining. Congrats. You beat the depleted Warriors team. But then your
All
gift
right.
is either Jokic, Murray, and the Nuggets, or Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder, which I think you both will get lose by, you know. So it's like, congrats, you survived another round. But you'll be in a Cabo with the Warriors or wherever they're vacationing next week, wherever the playoff teams are vacationing after the season's over next week. So congrats, you made another round. But we'll see you next week. See you in Cabo next week.
All right.
So it's just kind of funny and entertaining to see all their reaction because you have the two fans of like, wow, Timberwolves look great. I'm like, Timberwolves did not look great. They beat a team they should beat considering how many injuries were on that team, right?
Right. They still have to manage. Oh, speak by. Oh, sorry, my God.
Because that's how different I think the Warriors team is without Curry is like literally it goes from a fringe team to like literally like a team who can contend for I don't know NBA championship, but at least a Western Conference Finals, right? Because you're like, oh, if Curry's fully healthy, like instead of 4-1, it might be another game seven, or it might be going 6-7, or the Warriors might win in seven. Like it's just a different series without someone like that on your roster.
All right.
And that can go both ways. If I would be saying the same exact thing if Curry was healthy and Edwards was not healthy. I would say the same exact thing,
All right.
right? So it's just the facts of the situation. But yeah, but the Timberwolves, congrats for them, you know, right? How are you feeling about all that series, watching all that because of all those injuries and stuff like that? Like, do you have the same opinion or what you think as me, or do you think it's like good? Yeah, Timberwolves look great.
The funny thing, right, see that, the injuries always happen at the worst time.
Right.
Like the absolute, as soon as the moment you need somebody like Steph Curry and then like Jason Tatum, right? The moment you really need them, gone, injured, done. And it's like, why does it happen? I feel like it kind of happens in every sport too, right around the important moments. Um, so now even with the Red Sox are the same way. Their first baseman, Tristan Cassis, he was really starting to heat up and really getting his groove. And then not too long ago, within the last few weeks, he got hurt and now he's basically out for the season. Um, so yeah, no, I agree in the sense of, because the Celtics are going through the same thing with Tatum now, right? He's basically the team. And Now they're kind of struggling a little bit, especially early on in the game, especially early in the game last night, where
Yeah.
darn they looked like a little league, basketball team. Like they couldn't pass, they couldn't shoot, they couldn't rebound, like they couldn't do anything. And eventually they picked up their groove, but darn, it was just watching my gray hairs grow basically on the TV screens. Just like what the heck's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I saw some of the Pacers look good.
They
Pacers
do.
look like a buzzsaw. And whoever wins tonight, whether that's the Knicks closing out the series or the Celtics forcing a game seven, like I don't want to be facing that Pacers team the way they have looked in these playoffs. You
They're
know,
right.
they beat the Bucks down 4-1 in 5 games, and then they beat the Cavs team in 5 games, like who was number one seed in the East. Uh, they look like they're clicking on all cylinders at the right time,
They're right.
led by
So that's the
Tyrese
thing.
Halliburton.
So that's the thing. I think my predictions for them are the Celtics winning it. Well, winning tomorrow, the next game, which is tomorrow at 8,
Enforcing the game seven.
forcing the game 7. I think Celtics are gonna lose in game 7. I think that game's at home, and they're gonna lose at the home in their home stadium. I think the Knicks are gonna go on, and and then to your point, struggle against the Pacers big
Yeah.
time.
Think of the talk of the finals between the Pacers and Timberwolves, the four
That'd be
versus
crazy.
six seed Timberwolves, Edwards and Halliburton versus Halliburton. You have that headline. You got a bunch of headlines that you could just run with.
All right.
Dormant Timberwolves team that has been like dead for years compared to being a fringe playoff team, going all the way, and then the Pacers team who's been that last time they were this relevant, Paul George. It was pre Paul George era. It was at Paul George era when he was before the injury when they went the Eastern Conference Finals, against that Heat team with the LeBron James and Dwayne Wade.
Right.
That was the last time the Pacers I remember being this relevant. So I
All
think in
right.
a way you got a lot to Sports Center, ESPN's gonna be fun for the next few weeks, either way you
All
slice
right. They're gonna be action packed.
it. Exactly. So that's sort of where I'm sort of seeing is all that.
So yeah, no, even if something crazy happens that the Celtics win this round, again, something crazy happening where they just pull it out of them, I think they'll definitely go down the Pacers no matter what. So either way, I think the Pacers are going all the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's gonna be I think the question's gonna be is yeah, you think we'll be maybe I think Pacers, maybe OKC. That'll be a fun finals matchup.
All
Pacers,
right.
Denver. I, it's one of those things where it's like I I bet Timberwolves could do it. I just don't believe that they have the firepower to beat the Nuggets or the Thunder. I think they got lucky. I think they played um overrated Lakers team in the first round, in my opinion. I know they were 3 seed, but like they got rid of them in 5 games, looked like nothing. And then they beat a depleted Warriors team. Like they look good, don't get me wrong. It just feels like a different level entirely if once they play the Thunder and the Nuggets.
All
Right?
right.
It's just a different animal. And
The
they're healthy.
unique
That's the
beast.
thing. Thunder and Nuggets are healthy,
All right.
unlike the Warriors and unlike some other teams they had to play. But yeah,
Heck yeah.
what have you been watching any baseball? What's going on with the Red Sox?
The Red Sox are back on the struggle bus for about the fourth or fifth season in a row.
Yeah.
we just played the Detroit Tigers and we got swept by them. Probably one of the crappiest teams in the league for a while. But darn. And there were a couple games in series where it went into extra innings. So we were competing and at some points we're ahead, but then they just gave up at the last second and boom, they were done. Just
Hmm.
gone. And so the only cool thing that came out of that whole series though, uh where if y'all look back at it, I believe it was the game yesterday or yeah, yesterday where the Red Sox, playing defense on the field. The Tigers hit a long ball towards the fence. And one of our outfielders, the right fielder, was bobbling it like off his kind of his body and his glove, and then kind of tossed the ball up to the center fielder. The center fielder was right next to him. The center fielder caught it out of the other guy's glove, and that ended the end of the inning. So it's kind of a cool little bobble catch for an out. Um, but yeah, that was the only really cool and good thing that came out of the whole entire weekend for the Red Sox because they uh they are now officially playing under 500 baseball, which is not what the Red Sox should be doing with all this talent.
Yeah, that's how I feel about the A's. Like they're still above 500 by one game. They're 22 and 21, but like they're 4 and 6 in their last 10. The only reason why they're
Mhm.
still above 500 is because they were hot before the last 10 games.
Mm.
They were like on a 5 game winning streak before the last 10 games happened.
Hmm.
I was like, ooh, okay. Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, and then it's hard to believe it, but it's almost the All-Star break. It'll be All-Star break in a month and a
Yeah.
half. Like
Yeah.
I don't know when the trade deadline is for them, but when the MLB trade deadline is, but that's during the summer, right? The trade deadline
I believe
usually.
so. Yeah, at
That's
some
what I
point.
think. Yeah, so we got there's some time for them to do something before the trade deadline. Like it's one of those things where it's like you can see the potential, especially with like the A's. You can see that they're there. They just are either hot, or they're playing a game of hot. The reason why they're 21 and 19 or 21 and 22 is because it's hot and not baseball for them.
All right.
Like they're one game above 500 or almost 500 because they are the most hot and cold team I've ever seen. And it's kind of ridiculous. They either play horribly or they play like, oh, let's score 10 runs.
No in between, and
No in
it's
between.
just that little hump, right?
It
They
doesn't
just
matter
got to get
what
over the little
who you have
hump,
on
and
the
then
mound and the way the vibes are flowing that day, I guess. It's
all
the
right,
most erratic team. Like if they had it and put it all together, they could be a wild card team, but like they are so inconsistent and hot and cold that that won't happen. Like
all
it could
right.
happen. I think they could do it. I just don't think they can. I don't think they will, even though I feel like they have the potential to do so, if that makes sense, because of how hot and
Mm.
cold they are. But yeah, so that's gonna be. I think that's a lot interesting. As I say, we're only 40 games in out of a 162, so we're a quarter way through the season already.
It's crazy. It's flying by, and it's gonna be done before we know it too. So
Yeah, hard to believe.